And welcome in on this Wednesday, Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. So glad you are with us midweek here on the program with Barry all focus turning towards San Antonio in the Final Four. Unless you're reading an in-state news outlet wanting you to rate who the best football players in Alabama history are, I mean, is that the news of the day? I mean, we got a school going to the Final Four.
It's almost as if that news outlet, the one team that they shamelessly promote and pander to at the expense of everybody else, fell out of the bracket or something like that. It's crazy. What you do have at an outlet like, say, AL.com is the Liverpool Everton live stream, how to watch Premier League television, who is the best Alabama football player of all time, vote in the semifinals of our bracket. Minnesota Vikings coach salutes a departing lineman from Alabama. Greg McElroy says one Alabama quarterback is in firm control of the starting job so far. There is basketball in March Madness, in the Final Four, that is still going on.
It is. Last I checked.
Yeah. So
they're going to play Saturday.
That's
they're
all.
Probably, I would say, Barry, they're packing their bags, and maybe they're already in San Antonio. If not, I would believe they're probably heading out there today.
They left yesterday. A buddy of mine who works in athletic administration in Auburn, a great guy named Jeremy Roberts, he posted a picture of the plane. It is not the plane that left for Sellers, Indiana from that airport. It is not the plane that Gene Chizik arrived at the Robert O. Pitts Airport in Opelika in to the chance of 5 and 19.
Up.
It is a NCAA charter. It is not an Auburn plane. I can tell you that.
Here come the chats. Is there enough spacing between the seats? Are there barriers between the seats? Are they making sure the guys sit down the entire flight? I mean, you're opening yourself up.
Immediately, will there be a fight on this flight? They have flown about 12 to 15 times since then. And, Auburn. I don't know if there's any other craft in college athletics that gets as much run as an Auburn plane does.
Barry, I think that's one of those stories.
This very smart. It's the second time, maybe the third, that they have flown out of the Montgomery Regional Airport.
Oh, well, certainly. Oh, yeah, that goes without saying. Sure. MGM, check out great fares at flymgm.com.
Yep.
Barry, that's one of those things. I can just hear it now. Let's see. It's 2025. I think we'll still be around in 2035. And I just might subtly bring that up. And this is the response. 10 years ago, people. That was 10 years ago.
And the flight to Sellers, Indiana, which I brought up, I admit, even though somebody had brought it up to me beforehand, that was 25 years ago. That was pre-Cam.
Yeah, some things just never wear out. They just never get old.
They wear out, but some people continue to wear them out. So, I mean, they're in San Antonio right now, getting ready.
Great town.
Second, somebody else tweeted, he says, now, when somebody says, hey, Auburn, what about that Final Four appearance? All the fans can say, which one? They've got more than one now. It's, it's almost beginning to get to the point where you're like, was that Pasadena or was that Miami? No, see, Miami was Notre Dame, remember? Pasadena was Texas. That was 09, is that right? People are, they all wait a minute, which was the one with Santa Clara? Oh, I don't talk about that one.
That was terrible. Oh, that was rough.
It's getting to be where really Auburn can now differentiate.
Yes, and it makes nice. I like a little mix in the conversation. Casino Greg, who is in second place, in the Longshore and McKnight bracket contest. We'll go over those standings again with you today. But Casino Greg asked a question, Barry, and you're going to have to handle this one because it caught my attention straight up 7 o'clock. Something about Alabama baseball being really good, but they're only in 7th place in the SEC. Well, what's that all about?
Greg says this, and I haven't looked it up. Bama baseball is number 8 in the country, which is good enough for 7th place in the SEC.
Wait a minute. There are 7 teams or 6 teams ahead of them in the rankings, in the national rankings. What is this, basketball? Wait a minute. I did not know that. I did not. You know what? I got to tell you, Barry, I haven't really put my baseball cap on yet because I've really been into basketball of late.
Well, you sure were talking a lot of it yesterday, especially in the Alabama right now is 26-4. They are 6-3 in the SEC, which is actually tied for 6th as of right now. Their RPI is number 8, so they're pretty good. They're 22-6. Oh, no, 26-4 overall. 26-4. So there you go. Auburn, you say? They're 20-9.
Okay.
They're 4-5 in the league. Good for a tie in 9th place in baseball.
I've got that. Now,
this is this is part of the dynamics here. John says, "Hey, somebody is saying something random." Barry, do you know anything about that? Let me look, John.
Well, I mean, that's the first one. That's the first. I would have thought you would have known that off the top of your head, being the big baseball guy you are.
Oh, yeah. I know everybody's standings in every league and what their overall record is in the national ranking.
I can tell you the standings of one team if you really want to talk some baseball, because I'm all in on that.
In case you're wondering,
standings about a team that
the Atlanta Braves I mentioned played yesterday. And they did score. Again, that's 2 straight games in which they've scored after going 4 games where they or 3 games where they did not. They still lost.
Well, I got to give you credit. You actually called that yesterday. You said the Braves would not win.
Yep, they are now 0-6. It's true. 0-6. Which is that they have scored in 2 straight games. That's 2 runs in the last 47 innings. 2 in the last 47. It's true. They're in last in the National League East. Already they're 4 games out, but you can't look at the standings right now in this situation.
No.
Standings don't matter. Win a game. Get a win. Do you know how many winless teams there are right now in all of Major League Baseball? Care to take a guess?
Well, see, they hold the distinction. Yep.
They're 1. Braves
that
are
is
the only
amazing.
team in the standings, in the actual results, not preseason prognostications or what they should be. The Braves are the worst team in Major League Baseball right now.
Well, you know, Barry, I see that was brought up on the River Region Straw chat line that they're the only team without a win. They're 0-6. Krista Bammer really want to talk. Barry, we have not had this much reaction, and should I call it interest in the Atlanta Braves by a different group of people than I can recall in quite some time. This is actually pretty refreshing.
It seems like the same group to me. And it's orchestrated by really one person. John from Wetumpka did point out, he's always a positive thinker. John from Wetumpka reports the Braves did get ahead. They did have a lead yesterday. That is true. Nice. They led. There was only, this is a Longshore special. There were only 2 innings in which there were runs. Braves got a 1-0 lead in the 2nd. But the Dodgers scored 3 in the 6th.
Ooh.
And that's all there is.
Problems.
A run in the 2nd, 3 in the 6th. They played 9 and only 2 innings in which anybody scored. So.
You know, John from Wetumpka, I really don't want to luxuriate in the Braves' demise. I love that term, luxuriate. I really do. I think it's a great way to describe how you feel about a situation. I really don't. I don't want to, take pleasure in their misery. And I get it. It's going to be a long season. The Braves will probably go on a 6-game winning streak. When do the Marlins and the Expos and some of these other tomato can teams that they seem to play all year long come up on the schedule? Because that's when the winning's going to start. Or the Senators. What is that? What is that team? Is it the Washington? Is it the Senators? What's the name of that franchise?
They haven't been the Washington Senators since like 1971. This is a dead giveaway.
The Nationals.
Hey Barry,
Nationals.
What is it? Alabama's record right now? Do we know? It says it's right here. I wonder if it's true. Hey Barry, when do the Senators and the Expos come up on the schedule? Yeah.
Hey,
this
Marlins
is what I'm dealing
first
with.
Barry, if you only knew how difficult it was when you're not here, when you're out for a day, it's tough. Woo! I got to tell you, it's a little.
He's got to Google his own stuff. Oh, he's got to find out answers himself.
Yeah.
We will have in a little while more of a rundown of the Final Four. Unlike some statewide news agencies, Yellowhammer News is on it, by the way. Some others are not. We also are going to hit the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel pretty hard a little bit later on as well. Since the tone seems to be this way, I don't feel gun shy about previewing the dog of the day from the Phantom's Daily Dog.
Oh, boy.
And what happens?
Do I have a story to share with you about that game? It happens. Yeah. Okay, you get giddy about these half-court shots at the buzzer to cover and late tip-ins. It's all part of it. Last night, that was one I didn't see coming. I'll put it that way. I did not see that one coming. I tell you something else I didn't see coming, Barry. Gurn Jr. pulled a fast one on me yesterday. I
like it.
Hook, line,
I like where his head's at.
When he threw that picture of Tuska and that article about rolling the elephant with paper towels, I'm thinking, and of course, my thought process is some wormy, dorky, woke group up there has come together and tried to get this thing going. And I was not thinking clearly when he put that on the screen yesterday. I should have known better being April Fools that he might try something.
The dynamic on this program is John is the streetwise, the hustler, the guy who knows all the angles. He's been around the block a little bit, and I'm the naive guy, which is true. I mean, I am one of the most naive people in the world. But you did not see an article with a headline that says University of Alabama News on it that was talking about the wildly popular Tuska. And Alabama fans are being encouraged by the university to start a new tradition, throwing paper towels on that elephant statue. Really? I mean, I am the most naive person in America. But I thought it was great. I thought John was joking around yesterday. I thought John was in on the charade.
He got me on that one. So, of course, I copy and pasted it and sent it to all my buddies. You should have seen some of the reactions I got. Woo! Not suitable for family viewing, I'll tell you that.
I don't know why a big clay statue of an elephant, I mean big statue of an elephant, is not at least as popular as that. What did John call elephant giving birth sound effect within the stadium?
It just, can they just take that thing back to North River Yacht Club? I don't know who thought it was a great idea to move it. That's where it was. Originally, was it North River? Somebody said, let's stick it right there on the corner of Wallace Wade and University Boulevard. And I did send it back to some of my buddies. They fell for it. They got hooked. So I got a lot of reaction from that. Barry, I also got a lot of reaction from my daughter's answer to the question, where are you going to watch the games on Saturday? And she said, without any obs.
Yeah. My wife was watching that last night on repeat, and she I think Lucy's appearance was kind of a clarion call for women. The women were like, "You girl, finish."
Yeah.
In the top 100, and the very sharp young lady, by the way. Well, when we come back, Kyle George, the executive associate athletics director for external affairs at Troy University, will join us. Lots going on the Troy campus. Lots more as well. We are underway on our live Wednesday show in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 17 minutes past the hour on this Wednesday. Barry, you're right, man. That's a mouthful. Our man Kyle George, let me see if I got this correct. Executive Associate AD for Troy Athletics. Am I close?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. He joins us now from Troy University. Kyle, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, gentlemen. Doing great. How are you all?
Doing pretty well. Kyle, John is still trying to get a little bit of a read on Kellen Moore as the Saints head coach. So, he's been spending a little time on that.
I'll take him. After what we had, I'll take him. Now if we can just get a quarterback.
True. Always got to have a quarterback for sure.
Yeah. Busy time in Troy athletics. We open the month of April, and goodness knows, gosh, where do we start? Let's start, first of all, with tonight at Troy. Not many teams are still playing in college basketball, but the Troy women's basketball team is, Kyle.
Absolutely. Our team's feeling fabulous today. We're in the Fab Four for the WNIT, and this is the second consecutive season that our women's basketball team has advanced to this stage of the WNIT. We're on the road this evening at Illinois State. It's a 6:30 p.m. tip-off. It is televised on ESPN+, but all of our fans are invited to come join us at Baumhauer's Victory Grill right here in Troy. Great atmosphere there this past Monday night when we were playing the North Dakota State Bison, and so we got a chance now to keep on moving and one step away from getting to the championship game.
That's exciting. Yeah, she's had a great year. It's been a great year for basketball, all in all. Before we get into some other specifics, kind of give an idea of the vibe around the two basketball programs, because it's rare that anybody in the country have been as successful this year in the men's and women's programs as Troy has, Kyle.
I feel like internally here, we've talked for months about how exciting these basketball teams could be, and they really played out and became as exciting as we thought they could be. That's pretty rare for your teams to be able to chase after championships, men's basketball winning not just the regular season championship, but also the conference tournament. Women's basketball being right there in the hunt, finished third overall in our league. And now we're the last team standing in our conference when it comes to the WNIT and all postseason play right now. So really exciting for both of our basketball programs to reach these goals. Both have surpassed 20 wins in the season. That's really rare across all of college basketball for both of your men's and women's basketball teams to reach that win total. And it just shows, too, 4 consecutive seasons of Coach Scott Cross, 20 wins or more, the only team in the Sun Belt Conference to win 10 or more conference basketball games in 4 consecutive seasons. Shander Rigby, I mean, the book writes itself. It's year after year they're in postseason play.
Mm-hmm.
So really exciting to see. And we've seen, too, in the state of Alabama, basketball has really had a resurgence, and it's really taking place here in Troy as well.
There's also
I just want to get your thoughts, Kyle, about, and you know, Barry certainly shared it with us, but just the exposure and the notoriety that the Troy men's team got going to the NCAA tournament, going up against Kentucky. I thought CBS did a great job, and you know, the profiles and the pieces they did about Troy leading up to that game. And you know, even though they didn't win, just that exposure and that marketability that program got in an event and on a stage that big.
Oh, no doubt. Everybody was talking about how tough and hard-nosed this team is. The competition, you know, Kentucky is one of the bluest of blue bloods out there. And Mark Pope has done a fantastic job of getting that team ready and how they run this year. But for our team to be neck and neck with them the entire time, it wasn't a poor, pitiful, oh, look, Troy hung tough. It was, man, these guys are good. And that's what we want to be, where no matter who we play, people say that is a really good basketball team. We saw a lot of social media presence out there talking about the Trojans, not just from the game itself. Waffle House, you're welcome. We got you some good exposure there as well, too. So it was great to see just people learning more about Troy, who we are, and you know, the words that Coach Cross had about our kind of guys and the type of student athletes we're looking for here at Troy, that resonates across the board to football, to baseball, all of our teams there. Really just shows the type of student athletes we've got. You know, we're really fortunate to have some great people first and foremost, but they're just tough, hard workers, and there's no frills about it. It's going to go out and compete every single day.
You and I were talking yesterday. I'm about to go on a long trip with the Troy baseball team for about 12 days. 7 games coming up on the road after a noontime start today against Florida A&M at Riddle Pace Field. And the final 2 weeks of, I guess, spring football practice for Jared Parker. You look out your window at your office, you see that indoor practice facility with, you know, the shell of everything really going up right now. Give us a little sense of what the final 2 weeks of spring practice means leading into T-Day coming up a week from Saturday.
Well, I think it's a metaphor for us too. You know, we're really building, and you're seeing it taking place right now with the indoor practice facility. It's going up. You're seeing that frame getting put in place. Same's taking place for our football program. We're really building upon what's going to take place in the 2025 football season. And it really starts back with how we finished 24. Went 3-1 down the stretch. You know, a lot of teams would have folded up shop and said, hey, we're done. We're not going to compete there. We didn't have a starting quarterback, much like our Saints at times, but we didn't have starting most of the season. You know, you had Goose Crowder out. And so seeing that team really rally and still come back with a third string quarterback, going 3-1 down the stretch, really finding our true identity as a team. Now Coach Parker and her staff have an entire spring to really install things. A lot of new faces on this program, and I mean that in a good way, where our guys went out and they found some talented guys to come into this program. We're talking about guys that have won national championships in Division I college football. So they've brought in some talented guys across the board, across the trenches, because you're going to win in the trenches. And that's the style of football you're going to see here, where it's tough, hard-nosed. We're going to run the rock. We're going to get a chance to move the ball down the field when it comes to throwing in the vertical passing game. And on defense, we're going to be multiple and really attack the ball as well, too. So you'll see a glimpse of that on Saturday, April 12th, when we have our T-Day spring game. I'm not saying you're going to see every single play we're going to run this season, because no team's doing that right now. A chance for you to see some new faces, get some excitement going. Also get a chance to interact with these guys. That's one thing we do uniquely here at Troy, is that we want you to come down and talk to the guys. You know, we're not going to keep them away from you there. After the game's complete, come down to the field, interact with our players. You're going to get a chance to be part of some fun, interactive pieces with, thanks to the Vance Law Firm. We have several different 3 prizes throughout the Saturday, April 12th T-Day spring game, including a chance for one fan to win 3 lifetime football season tickets, with some of our student athletes helping them compete various challenges on the actual field. So we want this to be fun. We want it to be engaging. You'll see football, but you'll also see some ways to engage with some of our past legends, as well as our future Trojans youth football camp taking place as well.
One of the things you're talking with the past legends, the lunch with legends is that morning at 11 o'clock. Are there still tickets remaining there, Kyle?
There's a limited number of tickets still remaining. It's a great panel this year. Coach Richard Shaughnessy, he's been here for 30 plus years with our strength and conditioning program. He can tell you all the stories about guys like DeMarcus Ware, OCU Manor, guys that have gone on to the NFL, and what that looks like to get noticed and found here at Troy. Lawrence Tynes, one of our best kickers of all time, also won the Super Bowl and knocked off Tom Brady and the undefeated Patriots with the New York Football Giants. We've got Corey Robinson. He is the bazooka from Paducah, the original one. He's also back here on campus now with us, and he's also going into the Troy Sports Hall of Fame this year as well. And then DeWitt Betterson Sr., his son's actually on the team right now as well. He says he handed the ball off to Junior Lewis Saint, but that's the one that helped us win the game against Missouri as well 2 years ago. So those guys will all be here 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at TroyTrojans.com/lunch with legends. Get a chance to meet these guys, have lunch with them, and then hang around for the T-Day spring game at 2 p.m.
Kyle, Barry had mentioned the indoor practice facility, that it's under construction as we speak. And I was just thinking, and you guys would certainly know because I'm sure you've been on every campus in the Sun Belt. I can't imagine there's another school in the Sun Belt that has better facilities, particularly for the three big sports, than Troy.
We're really fortunate. And I get a fortunate opportunity to travel with our teams and see some of these other facilities. And look, we've got great facilities in our league, but you're right. When you look at Troy, you don't see a facility that says, oh, that's missing something here. That's kind of falling out of order. Like, everything looks and feels fantastic. We've got all the facilities we need to compete. And that last missing piece was the indoor practice facility. And that one's coming online here in time for August here as well. So once that one is complete, and the thing that's unique for us too is it's all right here together. Close, compact footprint. You can literally walk to everything here on campus. And that's one of the things I think that's really special about Troy is that we do have that small atmosphere, if you will, when it comes to, people. You get a chance to connect and get a chance to know our coaches, but it's big time college athletics here. And that's the thing where we get a chance to compete at the highest level. We've got great facilities that can seat large numbers of individuals and helps us not just for our own home games, but also for postseason aspirations as well.
The T-Day game itself, the T-Day experience is Saturday, April the 12th at the Vet, 11 a.m. with lunch with legends. The kids camp begins at noon. There's a big athletics yard sale as well. We'll be talking it up again up until then. But I wanted to ask you about this. It's all leading to the run-up of the 2025 season. Will there be an opportunity for fans who come down to the to campus for T-Day that Saturday to be able to purchase their season tickets?
Absolutely. So when you come to the T-Day spring game, again, kickoff is at 2 p.m. Our yard sales at 1 p.m. So you can load up on some Troy gear as well, too, with past football jerseys and such as well. But as soon as things open up there for us at 1 o'clock, we'll have our ticket sales team right there by the yard sale. They'll help you physically pick out the seats. We'll have seats available that you can actually see. This is the seat I want to pick out myself. Tickets are available in all different sections, whether it be general admission, reserve seats. We have seats available in our stadium club. You name it, those opportunities are out there, including our Michelob Ultra Lounge. We have a few of those items available this season as well, too. So availability is out there. Our team is here to help you pick out those seats. And if you purchase those tickets now, at least before May 1st, you'll qualify for our football season ticket holder gift that we just launched yesterday. It was not an April Fool's joke. We are doing a Larry Blakeney bobblehead to honor Coach Blakeney for going into the College Football Hall of Fame. Really excited about this opportunity for our fans. People are buzzing about that one because we all love Larry Legend. He is one of the absolute best people you'll ever meet. Some unique opportunities for us to really celebrate his incredible career this year as he goes into the College Football Hall of Fame. But again, if you buy your football season tickets by May 1st, go online to TroyTrojans.com/tickets. You will receive the Larry Blakeney bobblehead later in August.
And you also get what looks like a really good schedule. The home games this year. I love it, the fact that the Battle for the Belt is on a Saturday, Kyle. That's one of several. That's a big one.
That's been like a Thursday game for the last couple of years, it seems like.
It has. This is a unique opportunity where all 6 home games are all on Saturdays. It's been a while since we've been able to say that, and it's also spread out really well, too, where you open the season at home against Nicholls State. Right. You go on the road to Clemson. You come back and you play Memphis at home. That's going to be a huge, huge game there for us on September 13th. Then as you get into October 4th against South Alabama, again, on a Saturday. It's been a while since we last had that opportunity to do that. October 25th against Louisiana. You roll into homecoming on November 1st against Arkansas State, and we'll close the season at home on November 22nd. That will also be our military appreciation game against Georgia State. So that also takes place before Thanksgiving. So helpful the way the schedule broke out this season. Nice kind of rhythm, if you will, to where things are not stacked up on top of each other there. So I think our fans are really excited about this, but also, too, the opportunity to go on the road to several games as well. Yeah. We go to Clemson this year. Mm-hmm. It's been a couple of years since we last went back there, and we all know about the phantom whistle that held us back from a win. But we're looking forward to some retribution there for us. First time for us to go to Buffalo, New York. That's going to be a really exciting trip. Just a unique opportunity to get there in late September. It won't be too cold, but it'll be a little bit colder than Troy, Alabama. Get a chance to visit Niagara Falls. All those things are part of what I think our fans are excited about, where you can travel the Trojans, come enjoy some exciting football, but also get the chance to visit some unique places as well.
This is one of the things I think we need to reiterate as well as we close with Kyle George from Troy Athletics. In an era of rising prices everywhere, Troy's been able to hold the line on season ticket prices, correct?
That's correct. Our season ticket prices for football will remain the same this year. Our great value, 6 home football games starting at $75 for general admission tickets. You really can't beat that kind of price. And that's one of the things that matters to us is we need to ensure that families, whether it be a family of 4, a family of 5, whatever that looks like, we want you to be able to bring the entire family to the game and not feel like you took out a mortgage to come see us. That matters to make sure you have that value. Yes, we have to continue to drive revenue on a daily basis. That is my job every single day, is to find a way to drive revenue for us. But we want to make sure that our fans have a chance to be a part of that with us. We're never going to outprice our fans, because the experience and having a connection to Troy University, that's what matters the absolute most to us. And so as we get ready for the upcoming football season, you'll see more exciting announcements about things taking place for our fans, whether it be the pregame concerts in Tailgate Terrace, the Kids Zone, all those things will still be in effect here for us. We're going to continue to find ways to make it fun and exciting for families to come to us, because we have to compete for that dollar. And we want to make sure that our fans know that when they come here, they're spending a valuable dollar with us. They're going to have an enjoyable experience, no matter what the outcome of the game might be.
Steer them to a good touch point to find out more about everything we've been talking about, Kyle.
Absolutely. All the information's online at TroyTrojans.com if you're ready to buy season tickets, or if it's single game tickets. For instance, we have a 12 o'clock noon game today for baseball against Florida A&M. Top 25 matchup in terms of our team. We're top 25 in the country. TroyTrojans.com/tickets. And while you're on TroyTrojans.com, you can also look up information about our newest officially licensed whiskey with Clyde Mays. Limited run bottles. We are selling through those fast. So Pete's Package Store in Troy, they have the exclusive offer there. We have 500 bottles available, and I'm telling you, about half of them are already gone. So within 2 days, they are moving quickly. So we know our fans are excited about this opportunity, the co-branded opportunity with Clyde Mays.
With the sweet Cardinal drawstring bag with Troy across the front, that's beautiful, Kyle.
I think it would look great right there over John's shoulder. We can make sure a place there for him.
I hear you. I think I know somebody that could get me a bottle of that.
Might know a person.
I think I do know a person that could get me some of that. He's a viewer of the program. Yes.
Yeah. Always awesome. Great to visit with you, Kyle. Thank you so much. Look forward to tracking the Trojans heading into T-Day a week from this coming Saturday. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks so much, and good luck on the road, Barry. Appreciate your help with baseball.
Thank you very much. Kyle George, Executive Associate Director of Athletics for External Relations at Troy University. Clyde May, they're doing a lot with that. And schools all over the country are doing that. You're having licensed bourbons, licensed whiskeys, stuff like that. When we come back.
Yeah, we got a lot, and really appreciate Kyle's time today. A lot of great information about what's going on with the Trojans. He appeared on our City of Montgomery guest hotline. Yeah, a lot of good things to talk about. CJ Duncan at the top of the next hour will join us. Obviously, we'll check in on the Phantoms Daily Dog, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland topic wheel as well. But a couple of a little quick hitters, as they call them, when we get back of what's been going on in the sports world, and we'll tackle those when we return.
Including one of the things that John loves, besides things like future schedules and stuff, rule changes in the NFL are coming. That may be a topic wheel event, but it's certainly going to be discussed with the program in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Okay, Mal, I see you up there. Yep, early today, Mal's on the chat line with some Braves chatter. Love it. Thanks, Mal.
Says, John, all this time we've been wrong. It actually can be fun at times to keep up with the Braves.
It's been fun. Any prediction for today's game with the Braves?
Pain. What was it Clubber Lang said? Prediction? Pain. They're not going to do it. I mean, the Dodgers are all that. I mean, what do you want me to say? They're going to get their behinds kicked again,
Really? No. I mean, can they finally get a win?
Upon reflection, that is what John wants me to say. Yeah, it's not. Well, it's not
really. I was kind of interested to see if you thought they'd win. I don't know who the starting pitchers for today's game.
They'll win today. I mean, they'll win a game. They'll win sometime.
Oh yeah,
maybe this week. Who knows? It'll be Bryce Elder for the Braves for the Dodgers, one of their new tens of millions of dollar acquisitions this year. Two-time Cy Young Award winner Ian Snell.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. That does not sound good.
It will be, again, on FanDuel Sports South and on the Major League Network.
I think I get that because, Barry, if there's ever been a time I've actually wanted to watch the Braves, now's the time. And I'm having a hard time finding where they are. It'd be nice if I could watch them and know where they were, like back in the golden era when I just turned on TBS or TCG or whatever it was, and we could watch the Braves, not only the live game, but a replay of a Braves game. I'm thinking, why are you replaying it? Because they're playing again tomorrow, a brand new game.
Yeah, they play it like in the morning.
Yeah. I'm thinking,
you'd wake up and you'd be watching the Braves. Other than that, the old WTCG, which later turned into WTBS when Ted Turner bought it, used to be Channel 17 in Atlanta. I remember because the Braves had a pitcher named Andy Messersmith who wore number 17, and over the jersey where it should have said Messersmith, Ted Turner made him put Channel on it. So it was Channel 17. And, they always had, other than the Braves games, they would have Gilligan's Island.
Oh, yeah.
They would have like Hazel and Leave It to Beaver and all those 50 shows and stuff. Which, I mean, those things got a resurgence because people tuned in a little early to make sure they didn't miss the Braves and all that. Yeah, I said Ian Snell. It's Blake Snell.
Blake Snell.
It's Blake Snell gonna pitch. Do I know anybody named Ian Snell? We got some quick hitters today.
I wanted
Unfortunately,
to know,
the Braves don't have any. They don't have any slow hitters. They don't have any hitters at all right now.
Barry, I was listening to Cal Hurd yesterday. He went off on this bat issue.
Yeah.
You brought it up yesterday about the new
torpedo bat.
Torpedo bat. And I thought he had a good analogy. He says the torpedo bat is for hitters that are like a seasoned chef, a chef at a Michelin 5-star restaurant. It's just going to enhance that meal and make it even better. It's not going to help a hitter that's kind of like Applebee's. Just not going to do them much good. But a guy that's already a good hitter, it's going to enhance their hitting even more.
There's no doubt.
More scoring, more offense, more runs. He also went on to say that of all the leagues, I guess he's talking NHL, NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, that baseball has done the best job of rule changing and rule enhancement. And I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. For the last 25 years, I've been giving out advice, free, I might add, of what I think baseball should do to make the game better. I don't want to go through the long litany of ideas that I came up with.
Most of them at the time when he presented them for free, I was sitting right here and thinking, what is he talking about? Are you kidding me? Just pointing to first base instead of actually throwing 4 pitches outside the strike zone for an intentional walk? You kidding me? A pitch clock? Making a reliever throw at least. What are you talking about? And of course,
beautiful.
Here they come.
One I did not know, are the bases bigger? He mentioned bigger bases. What's up with that? Why are the bases bigger?
The part of the reason is to see if they can prevent collisions and stuff like that. They want the game to be quicker. You don't have to mince your steps and make sure you hit the little tiny bag. When you're going like from first to third or something like that. Part of it's a safety issue. In college, you may notice there's what's called a safety base right outside first base where you can sprint down the line. And if it's a close play at first base, you don't stand a chance of absolutely clocking the first baseman as you go across. So they're doing that. What do you think about these? I previewed this a little bit, and we've been kind of talking about NFL rule changes. One of the things is the Green Bay Packers have led a push to, well, pardon the pun, to eliminate the tush push.
Yeah.
That one has been tabled for a little while. They've been working on a few things, the rules committee, and there are some things. There are some changes that are going to be coming through that you'll notice. For one thing, you're going to be able to there's a rule change with the kickoffs. That will change.
Okay.
A variety of them. The touchbacks are okay. Touchbacks will be spotted on the 35-yard line as opposed to the 30. You know the goofy thing they do now with the kickers behind the line of scrimmage and da-da-da. What they want to do is still have a couple of kickoffs actually be returned so you can, kick them in the field of play. And, you don't want every drive to start for the opposition at the 35. So they're going to try to do.
No kidding.
They're going to try and do that because you and I both said that in the NFL, the kickoff is the most boring thing in the history of the world anymore.
It's terrible.
You know?
And Barry, you get the ball in the 35, heck, you're almost in field goal range.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
especially these days.
Make these teams have to work for it a little bit more. I'm not sure I like that. I don't like the kickoff rule. I just look. I get it. I know it's one of the more dangerous plays.
Yeah.
I wish, I just like to see more of it. I remember even when 40 years ago when I was in high school, if they kicked it in the end zone, the ball was dead. You couldn't run it out in high school. But in the NFL, these guys can kick it so far. They're kicking it into the end zone. I'd like them to move
through the end zone.
Yeah, I'd like them to move it back a little bit so we can get a little bit more action with the kickoff. I mean, there again, punts are pretty crazy too. I mean, you can have some punts where everybody's running around. There's 22 people, going full speed. I don't see them making any adjustments with the punting game like they have with the kicking game. But I like it. I like kickoffs. I wish they'd keep it a bigger part of the game and not have so many dead. I mean, I don't want to see a team score commercial, kick the extra point commercial, kick off, and another commercial.
Well, here's the two big ones. The two ones that have kind of overwhelmed everything else. One of them, the league is altering its overtime format. They keep tweaking overtime. They approved 2 rule changes. Overtime is being overhauled in the regular season. That means not just in the playoffs, but during the regular season, each team is going to have the ball at least once. That came up, remember, in 2022 when they went to overtime in the AFC Championship game. Bills Chiefs tied at the end of regulation. Obviously, Chiefs won the toss. Bills never got it. Chiefs go on. Bills season ends. That was awful. Now, in the NFL, let's just say that now the overtime, this is regular season too. Let's just say if in that case the Bills won the toss and they take the ball and they score a touchdown and the Chiefs get the ball, they get a chance to score a touchdown. And if they do, then the next round of the next step would be the next team to score will win the game. After each team gets at least one possession in overtime, then it's sudden death after that, which is the way it probably should be. They keep tweaking it. Also, the second rule change, there are penalties now that can be subject to replay review penalties rather than, whether the guy was in bounds or not, or whether he made the catch or not. They can now review by replay hits on a defenseless player, grabbing the face mask, horse collar tackle, tripping. If
the Jalen Milroe rule.
Knew it. And running into the kicker. Those can be reviewed. If you grab somebody's face mask, like what happened in the Ohio State, was it Ohio? I can't remember. It was in one of the college football playoff games. Anyway,
so running into the kicker, can it also go the other way? Because some of these kickers and punters are very dramatic. I mean, they have some acting ability. I mean, this is the flop of the NBA flop has made it into football, because I've seen some of these kickers and punters. You'd think they had to get their leg amputated. They were out there wailing around so much.
That's a key point, because you can only review the plays that I just talked about if a penalty flag is thrown.
Okay.
For instance, if somebody grabbed a face mask and they didn't call it, you can't review that unless there's a penalty. Basically, that one is to review and let you know, hey, man, I didn't grab his face mask. I grabbed his ear hole or something like that. If a coach believes that a flag is not warranted, he can review. You cannot review and say, hey, we did miss that face mask. No, all that means is that you called a face mask and my guy didn't touch it. Then you can review it. Also, one other thing before we go to break. Tell me what you think about this. The NFL also announced yesterday at its Rules Committee deal that it will utilize Sony's Hawkeye cameras to measure first downs. The cameras. Now, you still have the chain gang. You'll still have, the guys, the chain gang, that'll, keep track on the sidelines. But if there's a measurement on the field, they'll have it every game, 8K cameras that will track the ball's position on the field.
So my first reaction is, there again, I brought this up many times.
Yeah.
Can we get that in baseball with balls and strikes? Because some of these umpires behind the plate are thinking, what are you seeing here?
I'm smart enough now to realize that although I disagree with John, I'm not going to disagree a lot, because you watch, it's going to happen now that John says it needs to happen.
I know they don't like taking the human element out of it, particularly in the national pastime of
right.
Major League Baseball. But I've always wondered, why don't they use technology to call balls and strikes a little bit better? Because it does seem like it's a little out of whack.
Here's the thing. Again, you'll be able to see, like on the sidelines, when Mahomes scrambles out of the pocket, he'll still be able to see the first down marker and can duck in behind the first down marker for the first down. You'll still have the chain gang, but on-field measurements, not only will it be probably a little bit more accurate, but it also won't take as much time.
Yeah,
you got those old
true.
geezers that will totter out there and, you got it over there, Ernest? Yeah, okay, well, let me stretch you got a chain link. Can you imagine the chain link game with that? It'll also save time. So the league said the entire measurement process using the cameras will take about 30 seconds.
Oh, good.
And normally when you get those old guys, those old geezers out there, it'll take about a minute and a half.
Yeah,
for them to trot
very
out
similar,
there and all that kind of stuff.
Similar to being a line judge in high school volleyball. I worked the chain gang in some junior high and high school football games.
You got to be kidding me.
Was my
what was it? Did you get sentenced to community service or something?
Well, every parent's got to do it. I mean, you're on a rotation. You got to do it. I kind of like doing it, particularly when we were on the road. We were in their gym or on their field. Actually, in football, it was always the home team handled the chain. But in volleyball, you had somebody doing the line for both teams. Yeah. But, maybe I was a little stingy with where I put the chain back on. Well, really, I think we need to move back just a little bit here. Yeah. Okay, good. That's good right there. Ref never knew it.
Yeah. So that'll happen in the NFL as well, and touchbacks back to the 35-yard line. And so you'll be able to notice a couple of things. The Lions had a proposal to eliminate automatic first downs on defensive holding. Holding, number 23, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down. Anything? Automatic first down on that? Well, the Lions wanted to there's too many automatic first downs.
I agree.
The Lions wanted to make that not an automatic first down.
If you're holding on 3rd and 4, then it is an automatic first down. But if it's if it's 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 20, and you get flagged for holding and it's automatic first down, come on. I'm with you. All right, when we get back, Barry, I got some questions about some college basketball coaches that I want to pose before the top of the hour. CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, will join us in about 10 minutes. Got a lot going on in the second hour today. Longshore and McKnight in association with our friends at Yellowhammer News. Check it out at yellowhammernews.com. You can watch us there, and they have a write-up, a little brief wrap-up of what the show is about each and every afternoon at yellowhammernews.com.
It is in association with Yellowhammer News that we bring you Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Here we are at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Our friend, everybody's friend, Mary Ann is with us. Mary Ann, April is a special month, even more special at Marguerite's.
Definitely. Okay, so it's the first of the month, Barry. What's that birthstone?
It's a diamond, right?
Yes. Winner. It's easy to remember because with April comes baseball season, baseball diamond. We've got diamond month here at Marguerite's, and it is a great time. We are having diamond month to really emphasize all the great diamonds we have in stock. We're doing crazy specials on natural as well as lab created diamonds with solitaire specials. starting out at, this is crazy to believe, $500 for a lab created diamond solitaire. That's insane. Like a 1 carat inner ring. We have diamond studs, diamond tennis necklaces, tennis bracelets. Everything with our diamonds are going to be unmatched, unparalleled prices. And loose stones, again, maybe because it is baseball season and you're watching all of those games that you need to give a little extra something, or that girlfriend that you've been dating for a while needs to get an engagement ring. Well, now is definitely the time to do it because our loose diamonds are on special.
Yeah, if you are thinking about an engagement, here's a pro tip. That may be Marianne's favorite thing to do at Marguerite's, is to help the guys make sure their odds are good with a beautiful diamond for that loved one that they're going to pop the question to, right?
Most definitely. It's great to help. We love helping you. The hardest thing you have to do is walk through the door. Next thing, I mean, honestly, you just say, I need to get engaged. Or between the two of us or the rest of these listeners, I can tell when a guy walks through. They kind of just have that look and they're just walking slow and looking around. And I'm like, need an engagement ring? And they just shake their head. I take it from there. Just get some ideas. White gold, yellow gold, diamonds. We have them. Guys, it's not hard. Honestly, just walk through the door. We can help you.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all. They have people who would love to help, especially in Diamond Month in April in Marguerite. Yes. Marianne, as always, it's so great to talk with you. What are the hours of operation?
Sure. We're open 7 days a week in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center, 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Pepper Tree Center, next to Chappie's Deli, 8163 Vaughn Road in Montgomery. Thanks very much, Marianne. Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Already back at it, a couple of minutes to the top of the hour. Barry Dennis has jumped the route. I mean, you can't get over on this guy.
No
I was going
doubt.
to ask you as well, Buzz Williams leaving Texas A&M. What do you think about that?
I was surprised because he's going to Maryland, which is a Big Ten school, which is a kind of more of a basketball school than A&M. But A&M's given him, I mean, I've called games at A&M. I've called games when Buzz Williams was the head coach at Texas A&M. He's a Texas guy, and all that. Going to Maryland, maybe it's more money, although it's not more resources. A&M will give him anything that he wants. But I do know that when Buzz Williams was an assistant coach at UT Arlington, I think the first player that he signed was Scott Cross, who, of course, was on our show about a week and a half ago on the day that Troy played in the NCAA. Yeah, played Kentucky. I was trying to think it was the conference tournament of the NCAAs. So they are very close. I remember after A&M beat Troy in College Station a couple of years ago, Buzz says, I hope Scott Cross wins the rest of his games. Coach Cross is a Texas native and everything. There's a big contract extension for Coach Cross. I don't know how their search is going to go. But I do. Bama Greg just jumped me on this. Texas A&M is probably going to go after Chris Beard, the head coach at Ole Miss, who is fantastic. Led Texas Tech to the national championship game in 2019. He's a Texas guy. I think that would be that'd
be interesting to watch. Yeah, that kind of surprised me that Buzz left A&M. I would have thought A&M would have been a better job than Maryland, but who am I? Speaking of that, Barry.
Yes.
I want to throw this out there to you.
All right.
If Auburn goes all the way, wins the national championship on Monday night against whomever it may be, Duke or Houston, does Bruce Pearl ride off into the sunset? Does he go out on top? 65 years old, just had a birthday a couple of weeks ago. Does he retire? if they win it all?
I don't know, but if he does, I don't want to hear a word of discontent from Auburn fans about that. Not a word. Oh, I can't believe he left us. He finally got the. No. Admit it, everybody. He has overachieved by leaps and bounds your expectations. Not only as a basketball coach, but in the department as a representative of Auburn and all that kind of stuff. If there's maybe Tom Izzo at Michigan State, other than that, I can't think of anybody who deserves more thanks for what he has done at his school in collegiate basketball than Bruce Pearl deserves.
Yeah, and I thought about this too. I don't know
anybody.
Bruce's financial standing. I got to think it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That lake house, Joe, that you're referring to is probably, I would think, 5 or 6 years old by now. So he's probably got a pretty good chunk of money invested into that already. But 65 years old, had a great career, takes Auburn to the national championship. That's what people are going to be expecting, years to come, if in fact they do win it. And in this day and age of transfers and NILs, and you've seen what some of these other coaches have done in basketball. It happened at Duke, happened at North Carolina, happened at Villanova, happened at Virginia. These coaches just don't like fighting the fight. Can Bruce just think, I've done it. I built a good foundation. Possibly my son can take over. I don't know.
You're thinking that is ultimately the escape plan, and escape's not the right word because he's been great and he does love it there. Would be he would have a parachute into any television job he wants in college. He'd be fantastic at that. And his son would be the head coach. A lot of times that doesn't work. Didn't work for John Thompson at Georgetown.
Yeah.
Didn't work for several of those kind of guys. But Stephen Pearl's a really good coach. If it does happen, and I don't know that it happens this year, but it's worthy of talking about. Maybe talking about after the year, but here comes John, saying, hey, you may be all giddy and everything like that, but you might lose your coach. That's a John thing, but that's what it would look like.
I thought I kind of tap danced around that without coming out as forcefully saying, you might lose your coach. Just saying. I mean, I didn't. I just kind of wanted to ease into that without really slapping the Auburn fan base across the face.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, in this day and age, and people know what I'm talking about, transfers, NIL, the whole deal, if he goes out on top, wins the national title, he might be going, can I do this again? Can I repeat this? Can I get this type of team together, on a regular basis? I'm 65 years old. I don't know if ESPN's going to pay me as much as Auburn is paying me now, but they're probably going to pay me a pretty good chunk of change to come talk about basketball 3 months out of the year. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because we've seen other coaches that have said, I've had it. This isn't what I signed up for. Would it be a good exit plan if, in fact, they do win it all Monday night? Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, just asking the question. People question your motives when you and your timing.
There's no motive here
in things like that. Could he do it? Would he be thinking, man, I don't know that I could ever do this again? Well, it's the second time he's done it, getting to the Final Four, winning a championship. I think he could get them back. I think that Auburn, and I've said this about Alabama and Nate Oates, and John Dent said I didn't try hard enough. I think Alabama will be back into this position within the next 3 years. I think Auburn would be in that position again. If it happens, I think what you said earlier is very likely. Just the state of college basketball, like it did with Tony Bennett at Virginia, like it did with some of those guys. He probably just would say, man, this is a young coach's game these days. Let me leave it to my son and get out and put my feet up.
Hey, our man CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, joining us. He does each and every Wednesday on the program. I always enjoy CJ's input and analysis. Hey, CJ, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good
Uh-oh.
morning, guys. It's
Hey.
good to see y'all.
Yeah, good to have you with us here today. We're talking a little bit about the Final Four, what you've seen so far. Now, your bailiwick is football, but what have you seen in terms of competitiveness and in terms of will to win, in terms of mental toughness, things you're very familiar with? What have you seen in this tournament that's impressed you?
You know what? There's been a couple things, and they all kind of happened this past Saturday. Well, I guess one was Saturday, one was Sunday. But the Florida game, Clayton Jr. for Florida, how he literally put that team on his back. You know, when it didn't look good for the team, you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. He said, "Hey guys, we've gotten way too far to finish here." You know what I mean? And so that was one of the more impressive performances I've seen in my lifetime. The level of difficulty with the shots he was taking and making, he put that team on his back, and of course they got the victory. And then Janai Broom, of course, he kind of had like a Willis Reed moment, going back in the locker room, coming back out, shoots a three to kind of really solidify the game there. I thought was very impressive as well. So it's been very entertaining, and I love to see the college. You kind of think of it being a team game, but you're kind of seeing the stars kind of show. Kind of come to the rise to the top here, the creme de la creme kind of thing. So that's been fun to see.
You know, you mentioned the cream rising to the top, and I see that as well. And your thoughts about a statement I made earlier this week. To me, CJ, the reason that these four teams are where they are and in the Final Four is because they have NBA caliber talent on the floor right now. I see these teams having guys that are going to be playing in the NBA next year. I didn't see that with everybody else. I didn't see it with Alabama. I don't think they've got a guy that can start for an NBA team next year. The four teams that are in San Antonio, I do feel that way.
I agree completely. I mean, each four of these teams got dudes on their team, and it's impressive to see. And it's so obvious the way they're able to get around the court, the way they're able to get to exactly where they want to be. And as a coach, you just kind of get out of their way. You know, it's about will at this point. Everybody's talented, so it's like who wants it a little bit more. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Houston and Duke. Houston is a deep team. They're an older team. And you've got a lot of stars that are playing good defense too, which you don't see often as well. They're a scrappy team, and then Duke, of course, has Cooper Flagg and other guys as well that can make shots in critical situations. So it's going to be a fight these last two games.
Here's one of the things that I don't like, and I wish it could change, and maybe you can speak on this. This is the showcase of college basketball. We've got the final 3 games, the final 4 teams, and yet on the underside of it, we have had the transfer portal open up, and there have been over 1,600 names in the transfer portal. As you know, you've got 13, 14 guys on a men's basketball team. That averages out to about 5 guys a team, CJ, that are changing teams, that are, committing to other schools before the season technically even finishes. This is not good for college athletics, right?
No, not at all. This is supposed to be the most special moment of your life, and you're worried about something on the outside, right? And, I'm not talking with any of these coaches, so I don't know specifically, but I'm assuming these guys that are hitting the portal, guys who don't play often or are not getting their way. But even though that may be the case, they're still being a distraction to the guys that are trying to win a national championship. So at some point in time, we've got to move the dates around. We've got to, I think we may have spoke about it before, where we just move this thing to May. Everybody's got a May semester.
Yeah.
It's kind of a break in action anyway. Move it to May and just see how that plays out. But it's not fair for Tom Izzo. I think he got hit by it as well at Michigan State. When they're in the Elite Eight with a team that wasn't supposed to even be there, and now, your star players are wondering, all right, man, I guess my minutes are going to have to go up. We don't have enough depth, or whatever it is. So that distraction is unfair to the guys who are really there to win a national championship, put their heart on the line for that university, who've dreamed to be in that moment. But you've got guys on the team who could care less.
CJ, earlier in the show today, we were talking about football rule changes. There's been a lot of talk in the NFL about some rule changes, some adjustments, and things like that. Are there rule changes in football that you would like to see, or maybe some rule changes that you're not a big fan of?
Oh man, you put me on the spot there.
Yeah, he's done that to me too,
Yeah.
many times. TJ.
You put me on the spot there.
Well, of course, we've talked a lot about the tush push, the
Sure.
kickoff rule in the NFL. I think the kickoff situation really needs to be changed. I know it's a safety issue, but to me, it's just it doesn't even, it's like it's not even a play anymore.
Well, in the NFL, from an NFL perspective, I do wish they would go back to kind of the college version of the personal foul, or excuse me, not personal foul, but a PI or OPI, pass interference.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFL, if quarterback just throws it 60 yards down the field, there's a PI on the play. It's from the spot of the foul or whatever it may be. In college, it's just a 15-yarder. But I don't think the NFL should be able to flip the field just by throwing a deep ball and there be a pass interference called in that situation. That's one that comes top of head to me. I do like the new overtime rules where, both teams have an opportunity. I think that was a smart play. Tush push, I think it's a bit petty in my opinion. They talk about, player safety or whatever. Listen, as soon as you have the ball in your hands, there's a player safety issue there as well. You know what I mean? You've got, 11 grown men trying to knock you out. So I don't know about all that. I think it's advantageous for the Philadelphia Eagles because they've got a big quarterback with strong legs and they have the biggest offensive line. So maybe draft better, go into free agency and see if you can get guys that can do it. I don't think you should take that away from them. You got to figure it out,
Yeah.
So those are just a couple things that come top of mind.
Well, I know when you were in college, you did your fair share of kickoff returns.
Mm-hmm.
Did it ever feel dangerous to you? What's the mindset back there? Because you got big men running as fast as they can over ample spaces with a great deal of momentum. Was it ever in your mind that, hey, man, I stand a real good chance of getting my clock cleaned?
You know what? I felt a lot better as the returner with the ball than the off returner. A lot of the times I was the off returner, and you really just kind of throwing your body at the guy that comes first. You hit the first color you see, kind of thing, so you can open it up for the returner. But really, as a returner, you're thinking one cut and get down the sideline, right? So there's the opportunity for a guy to tee off on you, but if you block it the right way, it shouldn't be that way, right? You got guys that may miss blocks or miss assignments, whatever. That's usually when the big blow-ups happen. But if guys are doing what they're supposed to do, 9 times out of 10, even if you do get tackled, it's not necessarily a blow-up.
Yeah, and I get the safety issue of it, CJ, and it seems to all revolve around the kickoff. But, punts can be pretty violent as well. I mean, you got there again, 22 guys going full speed, in the punt game. I'm just curious that we don't hear as much about punting as we do kickoffs.
I think punt's worse than kick return. I think punt return's worse. You don't have as much time. The punter can hold the ball as long as he, there's no rush. He can hold the ball as long as he wants to. You start to get these guys that are rugby guys that kick left-footed and the ball's swirling, it's raining, you're in the elements, whatever it may be. I mean, listen, I've done it too. So I wasn't our primary punt returner. With the idea of me just spending most of my time on offense, focusing on that. Right. And then one of our guys dropped a couple punts, and the receivers coach was like, "Hey, you're going." And we're playing Ole Miss in Nashville, and the wind is swirling, it's raining. They've got a left-footed rugby guy out there, and I hadn't caught a punt all year. And I'm just like, man, this could not be a worse situation. And it ended up working out. I ended up catching about 4, punts that game, but it's tough. You're looking straight up. You have to peek every so often, but also keep your eye on the ball. It's a really tough situation, and it happens a lot quicker than kickoff. At least kick return, you can see it coming. You can kind of see where your holes are going to be. You got guys that can help you out a little bit more, but especially if you have a rush with punt return, if you got a rush. I mean, you got to make guys miss. There's nobody blocking. You gotta be special in that moment. So yeah, I'm with you. I think punt return's worse than kick return, safety wise.
We asked you about this back I think in December or January. Here we are in the midst of spring football practice. You've been through a lot of spring practices. You've been to NFL OTAs. It seems as though the college springs are starting to gear a little bit more towards the NFL. If you could reiterate for the fans who may not, your thoughts about the way college spring football is trending and whether it's beneficial.
Yeah, I think the way that it's trending, I think probably hurts the fan base more than it does the players per se. I think, and I get it, and I wish there were still games, but I do also understand the coaches' idea. You don't want extra tape out there for guys to be able to go in the portal and make a few $1,000s, But even when I was playing, the game itself was a very vanilla, dulled down version of practice, really. The practices is where they really evaluate. The practices are where you actually get better. They're a lot more intense. The coaches aren't going to call penalties. You've got to fight through it. They're trying to figure out who their foxhole guys in the fall, right? They want to be able to have some type of roster going into the summer. So you know how to do 7-on-7 in the summer. You know who's supposed to be your leaders and who's going to be captains. And you're going through that whole process in the spring. And so I think the teams, they will still be able to do those things behind closed doors without the cameras and the fans or whatnot. But I do think the fans are going to miss having a little something to look forward to, a little teaser for the fall right there in the spring.
CJ, I'm just curious. I would think when you were at Vanderbilt, you hit the road. I mean, you're thinking about the game plan and your teammates and all that kind of stuff. But I'd just be curious, was there a road game or a road venue you enjoyed playing in more than another?
Yeah, I would say playing at South Carolina was probably my favorite. And as a receiver, there's a lot that goes into that. Of course, you think about the fan base, their interaction, their engagement, how into the game they are, how big those games were, the magnitude of those games, and how close they were. But also the grass. For a receiver, you want good grass. And surprisingly enough, there are SEC schools with not so great grass, right? And so every time you're coming out of your break, the grass is coming up, or it's always muddy, or whatever it may be. I think South Carolina checked a lot of boxes for me, and I just so happened to have 2 touchdowns that game. So it kind of has a special place in my heart. Neyland Stadium, in East Tennessee is just it's different. It's different than most.
Boy, you ain't kidding.
It's one of those places where, I mean, you can't hear yourself think. The quarterback's in your ear and you're reading his lips because you can't hear him a whole lot, and they may throw stuff at you. My freshman year, they threw stuff at us when we upset them on the road. It's always a big game for us. It's a state championship, so we always enjoy playing at these.
The visiting locker rooms in Knoxville as small as the seats are, because if you got a big rear end, you don't have a lot of seat to sit on.
Yeah, yes, you are correct, and they are notorious for cutting off the hot water. So it's not a fun trip going to Neyland, but it's always it makes it a little bit better when you've got 3 wins against them. So
I love it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Always great to talk with you, CJ Duncan. Great to have a visit with you every time. We always get a great deal out of it. Thanks a bunch.
Always a pleasure. See you guys next week.
We'll do it. Sounds great. CJ Duncan joining us each and every week on our City of Montgomery guest hotline from Yellowhammer News. CJ,
cutting off the hot water. Doesn't that seem petty? And he did mention Neyland Stadium over in East Tennessee. He meant the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. He didn't, for some reason, he didn't feel like mentioning those proper names and everything. Come on,
yeah, I'm
man.
telling you, those
You got
Tennessee
some
folks,
assistant AD who's saying, "Okay,
sneaky.
all right, they're in the showers right now."
Yeah.
And they turn the. Come on,
Kind of like the shower scene in Porky's.
it's a little bit different, but yeah.
Turning the hot water off. Good stuff from CJ Duncan. All right, so
yes,
I took the specs off because I didn't want to get bombarded with. I just threw it out there. If Bruce Pearl wins the national championship Monday night, got to win Saturday night first. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
Yeah,
but if Auburn wins it all Monday night, does Bruce Pearl just ride off into the sunset? Say
if he does, I think two things. Number one, the Auburn fans should hold a Bruce Pearl Day. Well, three things. They should hold a Bruce Pearl Day. They should put up a statue. Bar none. No, I mean, I'm not a huge statue guy. You know, personally, I've always thought they needed to put a statue of John Longshore out in front of Riverwalk Stadium because he was the driving force back in the day to get AA baseball into Montgomery. But if you're in the statue business, if you're putting statues out for people, there are people at Auburn who have statues who would not have accomplished as much as Bruce Pearl would have accomplished at all.
Well, here's my
and
thoughts
the third
about
thing
that,
is Stephen Pearl will be the head coach.
Here's my thoughts about there. Well, I'm with you there. I would think so. I think Stephen Pearl would just go ahead and take over. The foundation is in place. The recruiting, the transfer, the NIL, the whole basketball operations. He knows what's going on, probably running the majority of it anyway. So I could see that. And there again, Bruce is 65, go work for ESPN. He's won a national title. Just throwing it out there. I'm not saying, that's going to happen, or Bama fans over there in the corner going, "Oh, I hope Bruce retires." I'm not saying that. I'm just throwing it out there if they do win it all. But, Barry, here's the issue. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
And I've gotten on this before, and people don't like to hear it. But, yes, Auburn has put up statues, but to my knowledge, they don't have a statue of a former coach or a present day coach. It's all some athletes that Heisman Trophy winners, cross dressers, and guys that have known to throw people out of restaurants through plate glass windows.
Those are just
players that have gotten statues.
He's not even consulting notes on this.
No. Barry, there again, I'd like some reaction to this, but if they're not going to put up a statue of Gene Chizik, they should not put up a statue of Bruce Pearl.
They need to do both then, because they need to. How
do you put up a statue of Pearl and you don't put up one of Chizik? I mean, you can't look at that 3-8 year. You can't look at that 49-0 drubbing in Bryant Denny his last season. You got to look at that undefeated 2010 season where they not only did they have to dodge all the pitfalls and the landmines on the football field, but the ones that some people out there were trying to use as a distraction or try to get some players suspended to end their run of a national title. And they made their way. They navigated their way through all of that.
Who would do that?
And they won a national championship, and they haven't put a statue up for that guy?
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
What's everybody got against Chizik?
You got to cut John off here because he's real passionate about this subject. He is so pro Chizik that honestly he could go on for a half hour because he does feel deep in the core of his soul that an injustice is being done.
You think
in the face of injustice, John Longshore will always stand strong.
You think about it, Barry. I seem to have the best relationships with former Auburn football coaches that I don't think got a fair shake. Had a good relationship, still do, with Terry Bowden, obviously with Tommy Tuberville. Our relationship with Pat Dye was second to none. Chizik, we've had some communication, but really hadn't stayed in touch much since Auburn ran him. But I don't know what it is about former Auburn football coaches that I've got good relationships with. Are there not other people out there that stick up for them and say, come on, War Eagle, let's do something nice for these folks?
Coming up in just a moment, the Phantoms Daily Dog.
Yes.
Also another interesting communication here from Bama Greg. How many fans do you think show up for A-Day with no real scrimmage?
Ooh.
Over, under 20,000? This hurts the economy, and the fan base has nothing to discuss. This is hurting college football. More on that in a moment as well. Still a lot to get to on this edition of the show. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. They're licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
Whew, man, that grilled grouper po' boy sounds good. I'm thinking about maybe one for lunch today at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. It is not a poor boy. It's a po' boy.
It is a po' boy.
Oh, boy. Before we get to the Phantoms Daily Dog, Curtis has piqued my interest at 8:23 this morning.
Let's see, 8:20. Oh, he says, speaking of statues, was it really true that Saban made Coca-Cola increase the size of his cutouts to be as big as Tuberville? That is true.
I do not know.
They are not intended to be life size.
They
are intended to be uniform across, both coaches did stuff with Ford, and John and I saw cutouts with Brian Harsin, Brian Harsin and Saban, and they were both the same size, although Saban's not as big as Harsin and stuff, just because you want it uniform because they're both at the very front. Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates and all that. I don't know that Saban made them do it, but I have a picture of myself. My wife took it. I made her take it. It wasn't her idea. We were at that Walmart over on Chantilly, I believe.
Yeah.
And they had a Coca-Cola display over there with Nick. I got to get that to Gurn. With Nick Saban doing this and all this kind of stuff, and he's looking really stern. And so I said, D, take this picture, please. And where his fingers extended, I put my ear next to it and I winced like, ow, what are you doing? Giving me a wet willy and all that. I got to send that one to you. Yeah, I am significantly taller than Nick Saban, but I didn't necessarily have to bend down in order for him to put his finger in my ear. I'll send that to
I've
you.
got an interesting story about
they
that
do that.
cutout.
That's marketing. That's all marketing.
About that Coca-Cola cutout as well. I got one of those. A friend of mine was able to get me one of those cutouts of Nick Saban. And I put it in the corner of a little playroom that Junior had probably 10 years ago or so. He's 17 now, so he's probably 7 or 8 at the time, for his birthday.
Right.
And got the cutout with Saban pointing, and then I got like a popsicle stick and put up a little sign, with bubbles on it, like a cartoon character, like this is what they are saying. And on the little bubble, the sign, I put, "Happy birthday, John Morgan," and Saban's pointing to him. And when he was like 7 or 8, I said, "Hey, buddy, go in there in your playroom in there. I think somebody's there to see you." And he walked around the corner, and he saw Saban standing there. It was the cutout, of course. And he freaked out. He thought it was really, for that nanosecond, he really thought Saban was there next to his drum set and his other little stuff that he had in there where he played with when he was a kid. That thing sat there
God
for
bless
years.
you for raising a child with a drum set. I can tell you that, Mike.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, that was a
Woo.
mistake. Never should have done that. I'd have to shut the door, let kid get in there. But yeah, we did that. I never noticed if that cutout was, not to scale. I do understand, though, Barry, the statue of Saban in front of Bryant-Denny Stadium.
I'm familiar with it.
Is a little, and if you look at it, it's a little bigger than the other statues that are there. It is a shade larger. Maybe it was a different sculptor, different company. I do not know.
Is it possible that Saban said, okay, you can put a statue of me out there, but make sure it's bigger than
and of course, his statue is different. The other ones, they're just kind of standing there with a coat and tie on, doing, looking real important and whatnot. Saban's kind of in this clapping motion, kind of coach's gear. So it is different, but it does look slightly bigger. Speaking of Tuberville, Curtis, I'll never forget about this up at Capitol Hill on the RTJ Trail. There was a big golf event, and Mike Shula, Watson Brown, and Tommy Tuberville were all 3 there. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time and was able to get a photo taken with myself and all 3 of those coaches at the same time. Still got the picture. And I'll never forget, right before the photographer took the picture, and he said, 1, 2, 3. At 3, Tuberville got on his tiptoes. And I could see it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm thinking, what's up with that? And then when I saw the picture, once the picture came to me and I received it,
I've seen it.
All the coaches were the same height. And I guess he did not want to be shorter in the picture than the other 2 coaches.
I think Shula's about 6'2", 6'3", taller than both Tuberville and Watson Brown. I remember because we were at a remote or something, and John was showing somebody that picture, and they said, "Who's that other guy?" And John said, "Oh, that's Watson Brown." And they said, "Who the heck is Watson Brown?" He was the coach at UAB.
Yeah, at the time he was the coach. Wasn't he the guy that gave you that smart aleck comment about Auburn, or was it?
No, that was Murray Bartow.
Murray Bartow.
That was at the event they had over at Wind Lakes.
Yeah.
And I was playing with Cliff Ellis and Murray Bartow and Mike Hennig, the older Hennig, Mike's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And we're playing.
They call him Big Hen.
Big Hen. That was our foursome, and I had miscounted not one of my strokes, at least not that time, but somebody else's stroke. And Murray said, "Wait a minute, that's a 6?" I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Typical Aub." And I'm like, "Hang on, I can take this from some Alabama guy, but I'm not taking this from nobody from UAB or something like that." Anyway, yeah. John has never forgotten that moment. I'm like,
no, that's a good one.
One mistake.
That's a good one.
One mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Barry, the Phantom's Daily Dog. Last night I was checking. I was going to bed about to retire. I thought, let me see what this score is. 6 minutes to go in the game in Memphis. The Grizzlies, who were catching 5.5, had a lead, had a 6-point lead, I believe, with 6 minutes to go. I was a little skeptical, a little nervous, But I went ahead and put the phone down, turned off the light, and said, we'll see what happens. I don't know what happened in the last 6 minutes, but I'm not sure Memphis is even on the floor based on the final of that game last night. We're catching 5.5. Boy, they lose by 9. I believe it was. I've tried to put it out of my mind.
How did they do that?
I don't know. I saw Florida race a big deficit in their NCAA game over the weekend, so maybe Golden State did something of the like. But, Barry, we in this game, you got to move on. You just can't sit there. And, even if, and I've been known and have a reputation, if I do have a win or it's a close win or it's a buzzer beater or a long three or whatnot, I don't sit here and harp about it and egg it on and needle the opposition that might have had the upper side. I just don't do that. That's just not the kind of guy I am.
No, he never, he just never has really understood the value in something.
Nah, I don't want to toot my own horn on something like that. So, Barry, we have done some digging. We've done some numbers. And tonight we like a game in Indianapolis, Indiana.
All right.
Where the Pacers of Indianapolis currently in fourth position in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. They've won 7 of their last 10. They're on a 1-game winning streak.
You cannot have a 1-game winning streak. There's no such thing as a 1-game winning streak. This goes back to your philosophy before.
I bet the Braves would take one.
How can you have the first annual such and such? You can't have a first annual anything. It ain't annual until you do it every year.
Or how about this? How can it be a classic if it's the first year?
Why you cannot have a 1-game winning streak? But anyway, okay.
Just for selling purposes, the team they are playing tonight is also on a 1-game winning streak. Only problem is they haven't won 7 of their last 10. They've lost 7 of their last 10.
And they've only won 19 of their first 73.
Correct. And they're 41 games out of first place. Okay. All right. We get it. And yes, they've been eliminated.
All right. Small factor to bring up.
They have been eliminated from postseason.
There's only 82 games in an NBA regular season.
That's true.
Only 82.
Yeah.
How in the world?
Baseball might need to think about that as well.
Jeez.
So, okay. The Pacers fighting for playoff positioning. Okay, we get that. The Hornets of Charlotte, not so much.
But
they're getting over 2 touchdowns in this game. The Hornets catching 14.5 at Indianapolis. We'll take it. Way too many points tonight. In the Phantoms Daily Dog, we're taking the Charlotte Hornets plus 14.5 at Indianapolis.
Let's take a break. When we come back, our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Gurn is still basking in the afterglow of just totally snookering John yesterday on his April Fool's thing about rolling Tusca with paper towels. Come on. I knew that wasn't real.
Before we get to break real quick, and I should have known this too. I'm slipping in my older age because this guy, when he was my roommate at the Capstone 40 years ago, I had a lot of different roommates. Maybe I was tough to live with. Who knows? So we just had a lot of people. We always had big groups living together, 4 or 5 folks in a house or whatnot.
Yeah.
But he was my roommate as well. He would always pull a lot of pranks. Little fun stuff that kind of just irritates you a little bit.
Doesn't seem.
And so I should have known this came from Gurn Sr. with his little April Fool's prank about Tusca. But Barry, when I looked into this yesterday and I Googled it a little bit looking into it, how in the world did we miss Sid Finch? I mentioned Sid Finch.
To be honest, that's when I knew. That's when I knew. I mean, and I was thinking, there's no way. Really? I mean, they did paper towels and Tusca. And then when they brought up Sid Finch, SIDD Finch.
Yeah.
That's when I knew, because that was the greatest April Fool's prank of all time in Sports Illustrated from George Plimpton, who was talking about this. What was it? A guy who had studied mysticism in India who threw a fastball like 120 miles an hour. Sid
and
Finch.
Barry, he was,
and they showed a picture of him throwing a baseball on the beach.
wasn't he the guy that like dressed out for a lot of Major League Baseball games or NBA games or something? I mean, this guy, HBO did a feature on him, and this guy somehow, some way could get into all these sporting events.
No. That's a different guy. That's a different guy. I
Did
know
Sid Finch write about that guy?
There is no Sid Finch. There is nobody really.
Yeah, or was that his name? Did he go by Sid Finch?
Maybe once or twice to get in, something like that. We'll have to figure out the connection. Yeah. But yeah, I knew it when it said when they brought up the Sid Finch thing, being a baseball guy.
Sid Finch is a fictional baseball player, the subject of notorious April Fool's Day hoax articles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It was specifically, the George Plimpton thing. George Plimpton, he was one of the very first immersive sports writers. He spent one spring practice with the Detroit Lions as a quarterback. He called it was called Paper Lion was the name of the book. Alan Alda played him in the movie Paper Lion. He did a couple of things like that. I only really realized that because my brother Mike did the same thing, where he wrote articles for Sports Illustrated about dunking and hitting a home run, things he hadn't done at the major league level and stuff. So yeah, that is true. Let's take a break. The topic wheel is next.
Yep.
In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us. Quickly, before we get to the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, here is how it stands at this moment leading into the Final Four this weekend in the Longshore and McKnight Bracket Challenge in association with Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. In the current number one position, CR24AU, followed by Casino Greg in the second position. Woodley's in the third spot. Chuck J88 in fourth. Chandler T. Benton is in fifth. 65 SRA in sixth. Don Messner, didn't he play for the Eagles? Maybe that was somebody else. In seventh. Margaret Shan in eighth. Qualio 88th and 9th, and Kodak Jack is in 10th position. Those are the top 10 participants at this juncture vying for the overall grand prize of a $1,000 travel voucher for the Montgomery Regional Airport. Barry, I also want to thank our good sponsors at Phoenix Physical Therapy. Getting you back in the game is what Phoenix Physical Therapy is all about, with locations throughout the River Region and the state of Alabama. River Region Straw, premium long needle pine straw for all of your landscaping needs. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. And, of course, the Destin Connection Seafood Market, the freshest seafood delivered daily from the Gulf of America right here to Montgomery, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead. Your order will be ready for pickup, 288-4272. Thanks so much to our sponsors for our bracket challenge. Great folks, great businesses. We really encourage you to patronize. Check them out. Do business with them. Trade with them, whatever you want to call it.
There you go. There you go. Number 7 in the poll, which did you say Don Kirshner? Like Don Kirshner's rock concert?
Don Messer.
Don Messer.
Okay. But was there an Eagle that got kicked out? What was his name? Don Felder. Don Felder.
Yeah. Yeah, he got in a fist fight with Glenn Fry after Don Felder was playing after the Eagles were playing at a benefit concert for this political thing. And he disrespected Alan Cranston. And all during the remainder of the set, Glenn Fry, while they're playing, he says, I'm going to kick when this is over with. And so they didn't get along real well with him. He wanted to sing more for the Eagles. And Felder was a phenomenal guitar player, but he couldn't sing.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lick. Yeah.
Just for the record, Tin Cup is just outside the top 10 at the 11th spot. Bob from Pike Road in the 28th position.
Nice.
There you go, Bob. Yeah. How about
Greg says Lucy didn't enter this pool as well?
She did, but she's not doing as well in this pool as she is the ESPN pool.
This one's harder.
This
more challenging.
How about AU Architect WDE? That's creative. I like
Somebody
that.
asked, and I did check, CR24 AU is not former interim Auburn football coach Carnell Williams.
Hey, Range Pro in the 39th spot. Way to go, Range Pro. Good stuff.
Here we go. All right, here we go.
All right, here we are. Where we got? It is the Gurn Junior 777 Victoryland 777 topic wheel. And wow, look at these topics today.
Goodness, we got 6.
Yes.
Gurn must have been thoroughly caffeinated putting these together.
You think about the tariffs? Don't the tariffs go into effect today? Trump didn't want to do it on April Fools. He thought it wouldn't be appropriate. I'm not sure Mexico and Canada think it's appropriate today either. Anyway,
the only one. Yeah.
let's spin the wheel, Gurn, and see what happens. Man, look at all those colors today. Nikola?
Jokic.
Nikola?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got.
Yeah. He had a triple-double in that game. And the 61 points is an NBA record. Yeah. Somebody said, did Russell Westbrook? He must have on the take. Yeah.
Ooh, man. This is the Nuggets playing
the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves, yeah. Wow. Whoa, look at that right at the buzzer, man.
Yeah.
61
Jokic, 61 points. That is the most points ever scored as part of a triple overtime. And again, you saw as part of a triple double. They lose in double overtime to the Timberwolves. It's interesting to note Denver now 0-3 when Jokic scores 50-plus points.
0-3. It's not as bad as being 0-6.
Keep moving. What else we got? That's a good one, Gurn. That's a good one.
It's a good one. I like it. Stories that I might have missed seem to appear on the topic wheel. I like that.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah, no. Ooh, where we got here? Shower.
Best
Nope.
of the best.
of the best. Ah,
Yeah, this
here we
is
go.
the best Alabama football player of all time. This was something that I saw on AL.com.
Yeah.
Best Alabama. They've reached the semifinals. The semifinals, number 1 seed Devontae Smith versus number 4 John Hanna, and number 2 seed Derrick Henry versus number 3 seed Derek Thomas.
I don't think this is. I think this is a little unfair because you're talking about players in different eras, different decades, different coaching staffs, different football
roles,
philosophies.
Yeah,
the game was played differently. I mean, I thought it was interesting. Saban was asked on a podcast his top 5 players. I thought, why would he even answer that? He did. And he talked about Julio and Derrick Henry. Talked about Reuben Foster being one of them. Talked about Rolando McClain being one of them. Tua being one of them. And I'm just thinking, why would you do that? To me, that I don't see how you can really judge the best player to ever play for Alabama. Maybe the best at that position, but I don't think you can say best overall player.
Well, Devontae Smith, I think it's perceptive of them to have him as a number 1 seed. I think the best out. If I'm guessing, if I'm voting for Derrick Henry. But I do think still, even now, Devontae Smith gets not enough credit. People talk about Julio because he's big and strong and fast. He didn't do what Devontae did. Didn't catch the clinching touchdown in the national championship game. And let me tell you, when he won the Heisman Trophy, it was not close. I mean, as a wide receiver, as a 160-pound wide receiver, nobody could cover him. He had a couple of circus catches. He didn't have as many as Julio did. You know why? Because Devontae would get himself wide open.
Yeah. You know, the thing about Devontae, unlike a lot of other Heisman winners, he had a great bowl game. You know, usually you've seen Machino Toretta comes to mind, and you think of some of those other ones that just don't even show up for their bowl game. Devontae had a really good bowl game. I remember the year he won it in that. But I couldn't. I go way back.
Older. I couldn't tell you much about John Hanna, except
I was about to say
he played for the Patriots and all that kind of stuff. And
I mean, John Hanna was playing when I was like 10. And I was more worried about Johnny Musso than I was John Hanna. But my best recollection of John Hanna was at the Bama punt game when his father was sitting about 4 rows in front of us and beat the crap out of some guy at the game because he was dogging John Hanna for not being able to block.
And I think that was part of an Alabama family. He had a brother named Charlie, right?
Correct. Yes. Sure
pretty
did.
Good player.
Yeah, so, I mean, and even as a 10-year-old,
it probably gets a pretty good bit of the sentimental vote.
You know,
like that.
Even as a 10-year-old at the Bama punt game, which was my first Iron Bowl, as a matter of fact.
Right.
And I see this fight break out 4 or 5 rows in front of me, and I'm going, hit him. You're not going to take that, are you? Did you hear what he said?
Even then, John was the
David, Charlie, and John. There were 3 boys. You're right, Curtis.
Yeah.
I knew it. And I think they all 3 played at Alabama.
David Hanna. I don't remember him.
I do, yeah.
I don't remember him.
But
I remember Daryl Hanna.
And yeah. Well, have you seen her lately? Oh.
Well, she's 67 years old. What?
Bear, I think
John anymore.
I think John Hanna was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the best offensive lineman ever.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's see what we have here. The colors are getting not as many. Bad lettuce. Could this be about hair?
I was thinking it must be because
or spoiled.
Lettuce is.
Wait a minute. This guy plays for the team that beat the Braves last night. Isn't it great how I can incorporate the Braves in just about?
Well, this was post picture. Dustin May. he had a life. I saw this. I didn't realize he was eating a salad at dinner and suffered a life-threatening esophageal tear. The esophagus, of course, is the throat. Scroll down a little bit, Gurn. A piece of lettuce became caught in his throat, and he sipped up just a little bit more, sipped a little bit of water, trying to have it. Scroll it down a little bit more. Scroll it up a little bit more. I'm sorry, to catch that. Yeah. Felt a painful sensation in his throat and stomach, and later learned that the lettuce had perforated his esophageal tube.
Ooh.
Emergency surgery that same night. He said he wouldn't have made it through the night if I didn't have it. Doctors telling him he saw it. So anyway, lettuce mishap for Dustin May, and he ends up, he's a terrific pitcher, throws about 102 miles an hour. And he was instrumental in the Dodgers going to 7-0 with the win over the Braves. That's the best start for any defending World Series champion in the history of the sport.
Might have to stay away from the salads. Wow, man, that's tough stuff there.
Yeah, I know a lot of our guys on the river region. See, that's why I don't eat salads.
Yeah,
they're dangerous.
It'll hurt you.
Please.
And I don't know, what are pitchers wearing number 85 for? I mean, that's not a pitcher's number.
Well, you're seeing a lot of that. You're seeing a lot of that now in Major League Baseball, especially for like the Dodgers and the Yankees, because they got so many retired numbers. There's not that many numbers left.
Quit retiring numbers. I mean, gee whiz.
Yeah. See, I still think in college, I remember when I was a kid, you used to have running backs wearing number 80. What did Wilbur Jackson?
Jackson was number 80.
They had a guy named Ike 40 who was a running back for Arkansas, wore number 88. I got no problem with that.
Shouldn't he have worn number 40? Like Jim Otto wore 00.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Need to have more of that. I mean, now you're seeing defensive ends wearing 5 and, defensive tackles wearing 4 and stuff like that. I like that. Why not?
Having the last name 40. Hey, 40. Go get me a 40. Okay, let's spin the wheel. Once again, the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Gurn Jr. sets the topics. We have no idea what we are in for. That's what makes it fun. And
whoa. What does that say?
Flags.
Flags.
All right. Yes, flags. Oh, wait a minute soon.
Olympic flag football. Is this boys or girls?
Boys, I believe both.
Okay. Flag football. Is it? I mean, it's popular. My niece Ryan out in Los Angeles is a terrific flag football player for her high school team. In California, it's a big deal. It's a big deal in Alabama. Central High School in Phoenix City is like the national champion in flag football. They got a girl right now. I swear she could probably have given Milroe a run for his money if she had been playing in Alabama. But is it popular enough? I mean, are you going to look out there and see Ecuadorian women's flag football and think that that's the right thing to do?
Here's my thing. Charles Barkley brought this up in some studio broadcast I heard. He raves about his time as an Olympian. He talks about how much that has meant to him being a two-time Olympian playing Olympic basketball. I think some of these guys would really, I've said it before. If I could be an Olympian, I think to me that would be the highest honor in your academic success if you were an Olympian. There was an NFL player that blew his knee out on a beach in Honolulu doing a tug of war.
Robert Edwards from the University of Georgia. Yes.
I'm sure the NFL, I don't know. I would hope they would let these guys do it. To me, Barry, though, that's a sport that kind of like basketball. The U.S. would dominate.
It doesn't. I don't think it necessarily translates the NFL to men's flag football. You got to have guys that play, by gosh, flag football, Do you have linemen in flag football? Because when I was a kid, and I used to love the Olympics, still do, and I'm thinking, okay, what's the easiest path for me to be in Olympics? I could be the middle guy on the 4-man bobsled. I could do that.
Yeah.
I could be could I be a race walker? I don't know, badminton stuff. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to get an Olympic medal. There are guys out there who, girls too, who live and breathe flag football.
They do it. Barry, it's a special Olympic sport as well. It's been extremely popular.
And it is hotly contested in the special, like everything.
Our Olympic athletes love it, and it's been a huge success. So, I don't know. I'd like to see it. I just think the Americans might have the advantage. Who knows?
Yeah, John, I could just see John talking with local man. Give me South Sudan plus the 13.5. Yeah, okay.
I'll take it. Yeah, they know to come from behind. They're good there.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can spin it once again, see what happens here. Couple of more topics to go. Have no idea what we could be in for, so it makes it fun. And it's going to land on Not My Benz.
Yes.
Who's Mercedes-Benz? Let's see what happened here.
Oh, did Shiloh Sanders drive off with a Mercedes and he hadn't made the payments?
Come on, man.
Embarrassing.
You got to pay for that thing.
Yes.
What? Maybe he thought somebody else was going to keep up with the payments. That's what it sounds like to me.
Like Dad.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Sanders filed for bankruptcy with more than $11 million in debt. I thought this was a college athlete. How do you have $11 million in debt?
Obviously, it was some sort.
So, hey, man, they're coming to get that car if you don't pay for it.
All right.
It'll be on a flatbed going down your street if you don't watch out.
Yeah. Well, we have reached the top of the hour. We're going to have to save the other one for tomorrow because I have got to go. We got baseball.
Is that shower mishap? I don't know. I'm looking forward to hearing what that's about tomorrow. We'll get that tomorrow. Hey, Barry, full lineup of guests tomorrow. As always, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection, our man Bart Heisch, College Basketball Insider, all on the show tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Kyle George, Troy Athletics, CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, Gurn Jr. for his exemplary work and for the topic wheel. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.